X-Men Apocalypse is another movie directed by Bryan Singer once again, and is the 6th X-Men movie in the franchise, not including the Wolverine spin-offs. So this movie involves the X-Men First Class cast, where they witness the rise of a new villain who is the first ever mutant, a very all-powerful mutant called Apocalypse. Apocalypse goes around the world collecting 4 mutants. They become the 4 Horsemen of Apocalypse, and it's up to the X-Men to stop them. So I was a little concerned going into this film because there have been a lot of mixed reviews. I checked Rotten Tomatoes to see if it would maybe update itself, maybe the reviews would get better as, you know, the film was coming out, but nothing's really changed. It's still around like a 40% on Rotten Tomatoes. It's really mixed, which makes kind of sense because during these like trilogy type films, the third film is usually the one that is kind of bad. We have X-Men, really good. X2, really good. X-Men Last Stand, terrible. Then we have the new trilogy that revolves around the X-Men First Class cast, X-Men First Class, X-Men Days of Future Past, and this. So I was wondering, you know, was this going to be like a third movie that was just going to be bad? But going into the theater, I actually really enjoyed this film. I don't know where all the hate is coming from. I will admit there were little snippets of things that I didn't necessarily enjoy regarding dialogue, usage of dialogue, and just little types of stuff like that. And the first half of the film is really slow, but it does pick up. Then the action gets kind of dragged along, but honestly, I really like this film a lot. Like, this is something I would probably buy on Blu-ray. This is a really good X-Men film. The special effects in this film are great. There's so many special effects, especially with the characters like Cyclops, Storm, Jean Grey, and Quicksilver. Quicksilver is back after his debut in Days of Future Past, and there is a scene in this movie that surpasses the scene that you saw in Days of Future Past. This guy is awesome as Quicksilver. I know I'm a huge Avengers fan, and I really wanted to like Quicksilver in that movie, but I have to say Fox's Quicksilver is a really good Quicksilver. Very entertaining, and some of the best scenes in the X-Men franchise. The one thing that I'm hearing from people that are disliking the movie is the villain, Apocalypse. Not because he looks like Ivan Ooze. Well, a little bit. Like, kind of, like, not even just looks. It's kind of like this Ivan Ooze thing. He rises from his grave or tomb or whatever, and that is basically Ivan Ooze. Like, but it's... Okay, here's my little thing. A lot of people are saying that this villain is kind of cliche. Yes, I will admit the villain is very, very cliche in this film. He's trying to, like, you know, take over the world. He's trying to be this new leader or god, and he's trying to build his place in this X-Men universe. So yes, it is a very cliche villain, but here's my response to that. X-Men started out in 2000. Okay, X-Men has been the one superhero franchise that has not been rebooted. X-Men has been around since 2000. Like, that's crazy to think that Hugh Jackman has been playing Wolverine for 16 years. That is a lifespan of a teenager. When you have a movie franchise that started out in 2000, like, that was a year where superhero movies were not that serious. X-Men was the first film to kind of take it seriously, but there were still some really cliche aspects of X-Men. So when you have a franchise that has been around for 16 years, there are still going to be some cliche elements to it, like the villain, for example. And to me, honestly, I think that is what really made this movie for me. It was really fun, it was really down to earth, and when you have movies nowadays that are trying to be super hardcore, or just trying to be as dark as possible and not entertaining whatsoever, you lose focus on actually what makes a really good movie. Honestly, I really liked X-Men Apocalypse. I really did. Like, I was going into it trying to, like, dissect all the problems that I had with it, and I did have a few minor issues, but when I'm watching a movie and those minor issues don't really affect me, I'm looking for, like, really major issues that make me question the plot of the movie. But I was able to progress farther into the film. It's usually, like, really big things that make me question, like, the script and stuff like that. But it was just all minor stuff, and I wasn't thinking about it, like, overall during my sit down in the movie theater. I will say, though, that there are a huge amount of continuity issues. So we're to believe that this takes place before the X-Men trilogy from 2000 to 2007. There are some characters in here that really contradict the characters that you see in the other films, like X-Men, X2, X-Men Last Stand, like Nightcrawler and Angel. Although I saw that these characters were in the film, it really didn't feel like the younger versions of the characters that you see in the other films. I felt like they were just different interpretations of these characters. Because if you watch them in this movie, not a whole lot adds up to, say, Nightcrawler in X2 or Angel in X-Men Last Stand. Like, I saw that they were in the film, but I was wondering if they were younger versions of the characters from X2 or X-Men Last Stand, or if these were like maybe rebooted versions of the characters. Like, a lot of these films, and especially Days of Future Past, had a lot of continuity issues. Like, I don't know if they're like paying attention to that, or if they just don't care, or if they're just focused on making like an entertaining film. But maybe that is where people are coming from. Maybe it's because they feel as though they're not paying attention to the other films or the continuity. That might be an issue. I don't know. How I view these characters in these films is that this is a different timeline now. I'm under the assumption now that this is just a different timeline. Maybe it leads on a little bit to the other X-Men films, but I'm under the impression that after the events of Days of Future Past, that this X-Men timeline regarding like the X-Men First Class cast is just a different timeline, and we can't exactly expect it to match up with the original trilogy. I think it's just trying to be its own thing. So besides continuity issues and just small minor details, I really enjoyed this film a lot, and I tell you guys, don't listen to like the reviews on Rotten Tomatoes. Go check it out. It's actually really cool. If you like the X-Men films, you will definitely like this. Also, one more thing. Olivia Munn as Psylocke. If you look like Olivia Munn, or know someone who looks like Olivia Munn, message me, comment down below, because I really want to have babies with Olivia Munn. Like, that chick is attractive. Oh my god, that One Piece. So yeah guys, that was my review of X-Men Apocalypse. Comment down below what you thought of this movie if you've seen it yet. Like the video, share it, and please subscribe to Pixel Talk if you haven't yet for more movie reviews, trailer reactions, gaming content, and so on. Thank you guys so much. I am Corbin Stuckey, and this is Pixel Talk.